Hey everyone, hey traders, Israel Clement here from Vintageducation.com. In today's live stream, for those of you joining me on the live stream, you're going to be able to join me in real time as we literally break down the markets. For those of you watching on the replay, hopefully this will be of benefit to you because we're going to be dropping a lot of gems. Either way, if you're on with me live, if you're watching on the replay, make sure you hit the like button so you can tell YouTube that this is actually a good video. So what we're going to talk about in today's video, we're going to get into some more market analysis. We did a live stream yesterday. This is another live stream which sort of is going to be like a part two to yesterday's live stream. So I've went ahead and linked in advance the previous live stream in the description box for you to watch after this live stream, because they're really going to go in tandem in a lot of ways. So you can see the charts, you can see the pound against the dollar. We're going to get into the pound against the dollar in a lot more detail today, and I've decided to get into some really powerful lessons that I know can really benefit you in a lot of ways. Okay, so you obviously can see these charts. You may be thinking, what's going on the charts? What's the yellow box? What's the red line? What's the red box? All of these different kind of things all will become clear. For those of you who were on with me yesterday, you'll know more specifically what this was. We're going to talk about some trades that I've actually been taking over the last 24 hours. We're going to talk about a winning trade. We're also going to talk about a losing trade as well. And the whole sum of events over the last 24 hours of trading is going to be very beneficial to you because there's so many valuable lessons in it which can help you in regards to making money, making profits trading the Forex markets. Now, on top of all of this stuff, we're going to be breaking down or kind of reviewing the sort of trading week. So you may have been able to, you may have seen from the thumbnail most likely already, there's a Monday to Friday. Pretty much 4 out of the 5 days are segmented with no trading, zero trading. Thursday was where most of the activity was. So we're going to basically unpack all of that stuff as well in regards to today's live stream. All right. So yesterday, just to kind of set the scene for those of you who weren't with us, um, the, what basically happened was we spent the live stream talking about the pound against the dollar, which we're going to talk about more, and I believe we talked about the euro dollar as well. We talked about both currency situations. Okay, now the pound against the dollar was what I spent most of my time on, um, mainly, and basically we highlighted a potential sell position, a sell area. Okay, so it was really interesting. You can see on screen, I don't believe this was yellow yesterday. I kind of changed the color, but I was basically going through all of the analysis, and I'll do this quickly as well because I said this yesterday. What you should become good at doing as a Forex trader before you get into any sort of market analysis, market trading, anything like that is you should basically do two things fundamentally. Okay, those two things that you should be doing are you should basically be checking the economic calendar. Okay, you should be checking this to make sure there's no really important news. It so happens that today there was a bit of important news. Okay, but we're not going to be trading during this live stream, or in fact for the rest of the day. There's only a few hours left of trading today, and not that it's not impossible to make any money, but the reason we're not going to be doing that is because according to what we kind of set up yesterday, our trading returns, as you can see here, based on our trading rules for this account that I talked about in yesterday's live stream, about this new trading account with about £600 that we're basically using now for my private trading students, basically. And I kind of shared it, so I'll share a little bit here. One of the rules is basically that, look, if you make your weekly target, okay, then that's it. There's no more trading. It's just that simple. And we actually did that yesterday. We'll talk about that in more detail later on. But we was able to basically do both of those things, which global to make the profit basically ultimately is what I was basically saying. So let's unpack all of this stuff. Let's talk about the pound against the dollar. Let's talk about the trades. You've probably seen already, if you are paying any sort of serious attention to the trading journal, there was a winning trade, but before that winning trade there was a losing trade. We'll talk about the losing trade, we'll talk about the winning trade, we'll talk about the pound against the dollar, what happened yesterday, where it might be going forward for the rest of the day and beyond, and also the winning trade, how it panned out, the valuable lessons that I can share with you in regards to those particular trades. We're going to get into all of it already. All right, so let's break this down. So yesterday we highlighted from a daily perspective that we believe that the market was going to be continuing the downward movement. Okay, now as we zoom in, I said yesterday that we're coming off the back of basically like 7 days of trading activity where the market's moving down, which you can see. Now, what a sight for sore eyes, because this is the current candle for today. This is yesterday's candle. Basically, we see that overall the market moved down. Huge red body here, but there's a long tail. That means price moved up for a portion of the day before subsequently overall moving down. And then yesterday we've seen that the price has shot all the way back, which isn't that much of a surprise. Okay, but yesterday we highlighted that, look, based on all of the analysis we did yesterday, again, they link to yesterday's live streams in the description box if you want to watch it before you watch this live stream, or if you want to watch it after. Either way, you can take your pick. Okay, whatever tickles your fancies ultimately. But the point is, we determined yesterday the market was moving down, and ultimately that's what it did. Then we basically started to go down to the lower time frames to basically look at this yellow area here that we were saying, look, price seems to be bouncing between these two regions. It's looking for a place to basically slow down, which in the bigger scheme of things was not a surprise, because ultimately a market will not continue to just continue to move down or to continue to move up. So as price continued to move down into this particular region, price started moving sideways. Ultimately, price, as you can see, this black line here, we actually drew this black line on because we could see that's where the bottom was. But if we go quickly to the weekly again, okay, we can see, or in fact, give me a second to basically do something quickly, and I'll show you the charts again. But basically what we saw is we saw an opportunity based on where price had moved from previously. Okay. And this is visible here, as you should be able to see now on screen. Okay. Price based on price in September of 2017 hit this bottom, and price subsequently hit it again over the last couple of days. Okay, so we knew that this was a really vital area. This was the next key level of importance where this downwards velocity, this huge downwards velocity, may suffer some problems. And so far, we've been proven exactly right. Now, this isn't just to boast about this kind of stuff. We've got results all over our channel, okay, from trading I've done over the years. This is more so to benefit you. That's why we're going to take time to unpack all of this stuff, again, to break it down for you so you can actually get value and actually learn and hopefully take the advice and actually make money. Okay, obviously everything I'm saying today is not categorized as financial advice. This is my own personal opinion. You can make money with this advice, you can lose money with this advice. It's all in your discretion. It's all up to you. I have no part in your profits. I'll therefore have no part in your loss as well. Okay, there's the legal disclaimer for the lawyers out there. So what we can see here, let's zoom in. We're talking about this level again. Okay, we drew up this particular region. The black line was based on price's previous price action. We basically drew in a line. Let's go to a 1 hour or something more closer so you can get a better view of this. So we drew in this line here. We drew in this line as a level within where price actually was, and it will probably be beneficial to kind of do this so you can kind of recreate what my mindset was and what I could see at the time. Okay, so it's pretty much probably like here, and I'd said, look, you know what, price has actually dropped into this region now, and price within this region has decided to bottom out. We talked about triple bottoms and all these different kind of things, all these different forms of Forex language that just in a nutshell, in simple terms, just mean it's hit the bottom 3 times. So we was looking at this and I said, look, this is something of interest, but we're not looking to take buy positions. Why? Not because we can't make money going the opposite way. Okay, you definitely can. I've done that in the past. But logic and wisdom basically tells me that, look, if this whole momentum, okay, I used the example of a tidal wave, if the huge, um, strong velocity of water is coming towards you, trying to swim against it is crazy. It's ludicrous. Actually, letting the velocity and the momentum carry you makes much more sense. This is why we say we want to take sell positions in this particular. Basically stacked on top of each other that we basically came across. And the fact of the matter is, it provided a logical area for us to potentially look for a sell position. Now, the fact of the matter is, I have to make this clear over and over again. I didn't guarantee was going to take a sell position from this particular region. I just suggested and said, look, you know what, I'm highlighting to see what happens. Okay, and this is always the mindset we have to come to our trading with, to trading with. We don't have guarantees. We're not getting inside information here, so to speak, where we know for certainty this is what's going to happen. The only thing we can do is be smart, be wise with our analysis, and say, you know what, if the market gets to this particular level, then I'm going to be strongly inclined if it does what I want it to do. In some cases, you'll find even if it doesn't do what you want it to do, you may still um, coerce yourself, coax yourself into basically taking a trade position. But I highlighted this particular region here about the 116.50 region, between 116 and 116.50 in that particular window. Now, towards the end of the live stream yesterday, you could see that price basically shot up into that region. Okay. And I was basically talking about it at the time, basically saying, well, it makes sense in a lot of ways for price to actually do that, but it's not something that we're going to basically get carried away with ultimately. So what we can start to see now happen is the aftermath. What happened? So we saw that price shot right through the area. Okay. And I mentioned this, taking the lower area, okay, which was, let's go to a 15-minute chart to give you an even better view of this. Okay. The first area was about here. Okay. I've deleted it subsequently. But taking that first area I mentioned on the live stream was okay. Okay, it wouldn't have been the worst in the world, but I would have been more inclined to take this particular trade up here because this was where at the height ultimately of where price actually reached. Okay, now as price came in and shot back down, that wasn't a surprise. Why? Because based on our analysis, we got the analysis right. This is the area where a lot of selling had actually been taking part. Okay, price tumbled down. When price tried to come back, this was the area where the sellers, the bears basically said, no, we're going to continue to move this down. Okay, and it was moving down drastically from that area. So when price came in, there's a lot of buying velocity into it, and it's getting pushed straight back down. Why? Because there's potentially stop losses, okay, where people have been trying to cover their positions. There's also sell orders in that position where, okay, cool, there's loads of traders out there saying, look, we want to sell when price gets back to this region because of all of the things I've just explained, etc. Going back to the past, all these different kind of things. Ultimately, the buying velocity shot it up. This gets into something I'm not going to cover in today's stream or today's video. Maybe I'll do that another day. But price, as you can see, it's moved sideways for a little bit. Excuse me. I did not like the way it was pretty much setting up. These aren't the kind of candles I'm interested in when it gets to the kind of level I want to trade from. So I didn't take the first entry. Okay, thumbs up to me so far. What basically happened next is we now saw a huge push back up again. And I was now watching this at this particular point in this particular region. And let me just kind of change this so you can see. In this particular region here, I was watching it, saying to myself, okay, now we've basically We've basically now seen that price try to consolidate, now it's pushing up. That didn't surprise me. The reason being is because I'm looking at this saying to myself, well, okay, if loads of people are trying to sell in this particular region here because this is what looks common to do, I'm not surprised if there's going to be a little fake out. Okay, this happens from time to time. So I was kind of confident and comfortable. Price continued to go sideways. This is two candles, two 15-minute candles. That's normally 30 minutes in total. And what basically happened next? Well, as this candle was basically forming, I decided to say, you know what, I'm going to sell. This is how you can see here, this was the first trade that is subsequently highlighted in red. Okay. Now, as you can see, reds are losers, and that was a loser. And there's a few things I want to say. Firstly, in retrospect, I'd have to be completely honest and say, you know what, I was a bit excited. I was a bit too excited in regards to this one, because this doesn't even look the way I want things to look. Anyone who's followed my trading style, my strategies, even if you've watched religiously the trade profit videos we publish on our channel of trades I've taken over the years, you will know that this looks nothing like the kind of entries that you're accustomed to seeing in those particular videos. So that was a big mistake. In retrospect, I hold my hands up and say, you know, I was just a bit too excited. Okay. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I don't want you to make the mistake of taking a trade that breaches your trading strategy, breaches your trading rules. Everyone does it, basically. It's about being disciplined. I don't want you to take a trade like that and then make an excuse. I could come here and say, you know what? Well, just the market didn't go in my favor. But I'm being brutally honest. Why? Because there's something more important to me than just the pride I have on one particular trade. I'm trying to make consistent returns. And to make consistent returns, you need to be consistent in your action. One of those things you need to be consistent with is consistent discipline, consistent honesty. Okay. And this is part of it. So I made a mistake here. I was a bit too eager, a bit too excited. We had some interesting information hit the markets in regards to QE. We had some interesting information hit the market from the Bank of England, also from President Trump in America, who was basically talking about certain things as well, which all had an effect in regards to what the markets were actually doing. And when you think about it from that kind of perspective, I could easily have said, you know what, oh, you know what, I took this trade and this fundamental news that was unforeseen just happened to come out at that particular time and mess me up. But that's not the consistent thing to do. The smart thing to do if you want to be consistently profitable at Forex is to say, you know what, I hold my hands up, I'm guilty. Whether I was ignorant to the news coming out, or whether I was in the knowledge of it and it just so happened to work in against me basically and not work in my favor. The fact of the matter is we have to become mindful at these kind of things. We have to be smart about this and say, you know what, no matter what happens in regards to our trading, I am to blame. I am ultimately gonna bear the results. Okay, the results are on me. So I didn't say anything like that or anything like that, even if it was true. Okay, in the day, I took the trade. I hit the sell button, and price didn't actually knock me out quite quickly. It actually took a little bit of time, about 15, 30 minutes, etc. And then as you can see, price just shut up. Okay, so as price now shot back very quickly, I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, well, price is back at this level now. This is the same level that we kind of highlighted. And now we start to get into a territory which is something known as the false breakout. Okay. Just to kind of keep this short for you, for those of you who don't know what a false breakout is, it's normally when the market's going to do something, but what it will do is it will basically break out or break through a region, okay, to throw a lot of people off, and then it will basically come back and do what it needs to do. Okay, it's a common strategy to throw people not in the know off, basically. So as price is coming back into this particular region, what do you think people are doing? You've got novices out there that are saying, oh, you know what, price is going to the moon. Okay, Israel's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He was saying the pound against the dollar is going short. Really, the market's going up. And what do they do at this particular region? Well, they basically say, okay, it's time to buy. And what do you think happens in that scenario? They get stopped out. Okay, so at the end of the day, when price was actually back in this particular region, as price started to consolidate, let me show you a better view. Let me do this. As price basically began to consolidate in this particular region, that was my cue to now enter the market. Because at the end of the day, let's do this. Go down to a lower time frame so you can see this even better. Because at the end of the day, you can see here, price shot down very quickly, tried to go back up, and started to show that price was not going any higher, in my opinion, based on the overall long-term analysis, then plus what was happening in real time on the shorter time frames where I'm looking for an entry. As price began to consolidate here, I entered the sell position. The funniest thing is my stop loss on this particular trade from here and not from here actually had a closer stop loss than the trade that was in this particular region based on this first opportunity. And as you can see, my target on this particular trade, let's do this. My target on this particular trade was actually all the way down here. So let's just borrow this. My target ended up being 115, which is basically the round number, about 115. Okay. My entry was about, let's see. My entry was 116, about 56, if I remember correctly. Yes. My stop loss is about 115.80. So we're talking about 20 pips there about stop loss. Now the target, like I said, was all the way down here. It ended up being, let's even just measure it for good measure. From 56 to 115. Yep, that's about right. It was about 150 pips profit on this particular trade. Okay. Now, let me give you more insights, because some of you have been watching up until this point and you're thinking, you know what? He's just giving me the secret. But I can be completely honest with you right now. The secret is what's about to come next. Okay. What I've just shown you, so many people know how to do this. So many people have learned this. So many people understand this. I can explain this to so many people and they can understand it in so many different ways. But what I'm going to explain next is the hard part, the difficult part, which so many people cannot seem to grasp, and it becomes so difficult for them to actually understand how to trade the Forex markets. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so I've told you I took one losing trade, I took one winning trade. Okay, seems simple enough, doesn't it? Not a lot of activity. You can see one trade was a -2% risk, minimal. The other trade turned out to be a 13.3% profit. Okay, both of those followed my rules. This was the reason why I took both of those trades. My rules are up here, etc. This is a practice account, ultimately practice live account for my students to basically just gain more confidence in our private community, in my private areas, for them to learn and understand it. Look, you can start with a small trading account. This is what you can do with it if you are disciplined. Okay, so 2% loss, 13.3% profit. That's ultimately 11.1% net profit. 10% profit for the week is the target. We hit that on one trade in about 2 to 3 hours. The trading week is done, it's over. Okay, no more trading because we hit our weekly target. We now come back, we regroup on the weekend, etc. We come back for the new week, try to do the same thing again, ultimately. Okay, so what we want to explain now, like I said, is the juice, the real juice. And I want to walk you through the second trade. I've kind of explained the first trade already, self-explanatory. So many people can understand this. You have a set of trading rules. You don't stick to your trading rules, whatever it is, whether it's one of the rules, all of the rules, um, 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 uh, a mixture, a middle amount of you disobeying the rules, whatever. Everyone is common at doing this. This is how 95% they say still to this day lose money. It's because they haven't realized that the habit of disobeying, going against the rules is not a profitable one. Okay, and they haven't realized it to the point where they're forcing themselves to do something different. Let's talk about the winning trade and understand now how this is where the money is really made in a lot of ways. Okay, so I've broken it down for you. Entered at 56, stop loss about 80, target was 115 round number. About a 20 pip stop loss for 150 pip return. Great trade, if I don't say so myself, but this is the great part of the trade which most people won't tell you, most people won't teach about, most people won't understand. And this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, not to boast, because I want you to understand this key concept. I want you to understand the power in what I'm basically talking about here, because this is how you'll continue to make money. So I entered this trade, as you can see, in this yellow region. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to go down to the lower time frame. Let's do this on a 3 minute, or let's do it on a 5 minute. Okay, and I want to explain to you the psychology, what was happening when I was going through this whole scenario. Now, I don't know if this happened the way it happened yesterday, just for this point right now, to give you a valuable lesson. Whatever the situation is, I'll just say, you know what, I'll thank God for it and say, you know what, if I can help you understand trading a bit better, then it was worth it. Okay, so what basically happened is I entered this trade, as I said, about 56 as price was doing. It wasn't the best entry in the world ultimately, if I'm completely honest, but we'll take it. Stop loss was above, and as you can see, price was sideways, a lot of sideways activity, as you can see in this yellow region. Okay, this yellow, the top yellow region. Okay, let me even change the color of it just so there's no ambiguity. Let's change it to green, since it ultimately became the money line. Okay, all right, so you can see in this green area the price was moving sideways. There was a lot of tails on the upside, there was a little tails on the downside, a lot of doji candles, as they say, which is basically just indecision. It's trying to go up, it's trying to go down, it doesn't know where it's going. Okay, and what else do we see? We basically now come to see that I'm watching this in real time. I don't generally watch my trades. I generally enter a trade and walk away, go and do something else. Case in point, because the things I'm going to explain to you that happen next. So I'm here watching it and I'm like, okay, obviously anxious. I've got one losing trade already. I'm kind of saying to myself, I don't want to lose another losing trade, because that means if I take 2 losing trades, then I'm done for the day. I have to go. I don't want to go with 2 losing trades. So in the midst of all of this stuff, I've seen this huge downwards momentum. I'm kind of like, I believe it's going down, but at the end of the day, you never know. The entry wasn't extremely the best by my own standards. I can normally get a lot better trades than this. And if I had got a better entry on this, I would have got made double ultimately. Okay, but there you go. Okay, you live and fight another day in wisdom. So price was moving sideways, and at this time, I'm kind of saying to myself, well, I'm anxious. Just lost one trade. I don't want to lose another trade. I'm thinking about today's live stream. Okay, and this takes in a whole different psychological development. Okay, because at the end of the day, I've never done this before. I've never put myself out there publicly to the masses. I'm not talking about just to a group of students and stuff like that. I'm talking about this is for everyone to see. So that brings a different kind of pressure. Okay, I won't lie about it. It does bring a different kind of pressure. So I'm thinking about these kind of things. What are these people on a live stream going to say if they see me talk about this analysis? The analysis plays out, and I'm walking away with egg on my face ultimately. So the market's moving sideways. I'm kind of getting anxious. Like, why? Like, what's going on? Like, come on, drop. Okay, we've all been there talking to the laptop screens, all those kind of things. I don't believe I went that far, but you can probably understand what I'm talking about. So as price is moving sideways, I'm getting anxious. And then, as you can see, 3 candles. This is a 5-minute view. So 1, 2, 3, 15 minutes. Price drops. Price drops about 20, 40 pips. Okay, I entered at 60 pretty much, got to 20. So price dropped 40 pips very quickly. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm looking to the left and I'm saying, you know what? Really and truly, there's not a lot of like activity to hold this up. If we go from a 1-hour view, okay, I'm like, look, there's really not much momentum to stop this once it starts moving down. This was my mindset. So I'm like, this should happen relatively quickly. And if any of you who have kind of followed me for a long time, you know that generally a lot of the time when I'm taking trades, my trades are generally over in a few hours, especially if it's through the European session or American session, etc. Okay, so price drops down 40 pips. You can even see on this particular green candle here that's going into the yellow area, it dropped even further. So it dropped all the way down pretty much nearly to the 116 round number. It got to about 116.06. I remember because I saw it and it dropped. So that's pretty much 50 pips. I'm at 50 pips now. Okay. And what basically happened? As you can see, in in short order, price went all the way back. And as it's going back, I'm saying to myself, should I have just taken out? Should I have just closed that trade? Should I just bank those 50 pips and run? Even though my target was 150, should I have just taken the 50? I could come today and be boisterous and say, look, I had this one losing trade here in this kind of bluey grey area, and I had this one winning trade, which was 50 pips. And I said, you know what, but I'm known for the 3-to-1 risk to reward or more. And if I'm risking 20 pips and I make like 50, 60 pips, that's barely scraping 3-to-1. Like, that's not even following the rules. And on top of that, I'm saying to myself, well, why are you saying things to yourself that you know is not part of your trading strategy? You know, Israel, that you don't move your stop to break even for the most part. You know that, well, let me not say, you know you don't move your stop loss to break even. I don't want to even put any ambiguity, okay? 99.9% of the time, I do not move my stop loss once I enter a trade, okay? Unless I'm kind of like amending it like within the opening minutes because I done something wrong or something along those lines, okay? So I'm looking at this scenario and I'm saying, look, this is about to turn around. This live stream today is going to be really interesting because we're going to be talking about how I entered one trade recklessly, pretty much. Wasn't really the smartest, wasn't really disciplined. And the second trade, you let 50 plus, nearly 60 pips go against you. after being in profit, and then you come back to lose. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be humble. I'm going to say, you know what? If my analysis yesterday was wrong, at the time, obviously, I'm saying if my analysis today was wrong, I'm going to come today and I'm going to be completely honest and say, you know what? This was my analysis. I was bold enough to take the trade. That's what you only have to become bold enough to do, to look at the markets within all of this like anxiousness, anxiety that's going on in the markets and take trades. I said, I'm going to sit and watch. And you can see what happened next. Price nearly went to my stop loss, kind of left a doji candle, and then shot right back to 116. So now I'm like, well, you know what? You bit a bullet there. I've gone through the immediate nerves in this particular region, in the green region, after I ended it. I've now gone through the market pushing all the way back there to my stop loss, and me saying, look, is it going to go sour? And I say to myself, look, this is why you risk a small amount of money. Because in times like this, when things are hard, when emotions are going to try and get the best of you, you have to say to yourself, you're not going to make that decision. Okay? You're not going to be living in regret. So I leave it. I don't close out now the second time. Here, as you can see, price moves down. Because I say to myself, look, at the end of the day, if you amend this trade and price goes to your target based on your wise analysis, the amount of guilt you're going to have, Israel, is going to be much more costly than the loss or the feeling or the humble pie you might have to eat, because if you come to the live stream the next day with two losses. Okay, these are the conversations that I'm actually having with myself in real time, because I'm actually here looking at what's actually happening. I'm looking at this stuff and having these kind of conversations. Okay, I was talking to my brother, one of my brothers, about this yesterday, and I was basically saying it's powerful because it's the Forex psychology I basically built up over the last decade in regards to strengthening my mindset to not give in. Okay, if you truly believe in something, you have to stick with it. You have to stick to it. So price moves down, and as you can see, look what happens. Price moves all the way down, nearly to my stop loss, and at this point, I'm like, yes, I'm about to get filled so quickly. And you can see it left behind a tail and pushed back up. So now I'm like, this just happened up here, remember, in this particular region. Do you want to go through this again? We're not talking about price going 60 pips again in your favor and turning against you. Now we're talking about price going, 130 pips in your favor and going against you. You're going to look like an even bigger idiot if you don't start scrambling now. As the tail was left behind, as this next green candle, as all of this stuff's happening, I'm saying, look, because it's easy in the aftermath to just kind of like skate over this, but this is where the money is made. We're talking about potentially making 60 pips, then we're talking about making 120 pips, 130 pips potentially. Okay, and as prices continue to move down and goes up, look what happens. Look at that green candle. You see a huge green candle, and I'm saying, look, should I just jump out of this market now? Should I just jump out? Like, I don't want this to turn sour. And really, me have to come today on this live stream and say, you know what? I messed up. I'll be coming to say I messed up because I stuck to my rules. Can you imagine, like, the backward psychology that's trying to work on me right now? It didn't make sense. My Forex psychology is resting, like, overall, getting the better. And I say again, you know what, Israel, look. When it went 60 pips against you up here and you turned and then it stopped you out, you held on and you said, you know what? We are riding on our analysis that we did before the market got into these areas. So we know that logically that should have been really good analysis. We're not talking about analysis that wasn't actually like right. We trust in our analysis that we do if we're doing this right. We're not doing it based on emotion. We're doing it based on logic and just wisdom, being wise. And we say, okay, cool. Just leave it. Trust in your analysis. I'm not listening to what the markets are saying or anything else, all those different kind of things. I'm saying, look, I'm going to focus on what the market's actually saying. I'm going to focus on what my analysis said before all of this emotions in the room. I was watching a video on YouTube, funny enough, or maybe not so funny enough. And the guy was basically talking about, it wasn't trading related, but it was basically talking about just the economy as a whole, globally. So, and he was basically saying, it was Graham Stephen, popular YouTuber, watching his video, and he was basically talking about how, look, now is the time to save your money. And imagine, I didn't really think about this at the time too much, but as I'm watching the video in the background, I'm getting these thoughts like, you know what? Should I just save this 120 pips? Can you imagine? And I just said, you know what? I need to X this video right now. I can't listen to that video right now because it's trying to infiltrate my decade strong Forex psychology and get me to do things that are uncharacteristic. So I put that on pause, said I'll watch it later, I'll finish it at another time, etc. And I said, you know what? I'm not doing anything. I'm watching this market. I'm going to leave it. If you go back and stop me out, fair be it. Minimal risk. This is why we risk minimal on our trade. If this hits me for a profit, the boost of Forex psychology I'm going to get is going to be long standing. This is going to last me days, weeks, and months. Why? Because 3 occasions at least, when I entered the trade, it was moving sideways and I was getting jittery. When it went 60 pips in my favor and went nearly back to my stop loss, I was jittery, almost thinking, you know what, let me just close out a break even. When price got to 130 pips of 150 pips of the target, and then turn around and put in some very scary opposing candles, I started to get jittery. Should I just save the money? As Graham Stephen saying in the video, which is not even related necessarily to trading. Okay, just for the record, I don't want it to seem like criticizing his video. It's just more so coincidence, as most people say, even though I don't believe in coincidence. So let's see what happened. After I literally said, you know what, I'm done, I'm leaving it. Look what basically happened next. Price basically shot down through the take profit. I closed out the trade. Obviously, the broker closed out the trade for me, etc. Automatically because I have a take profit on all of my trades, and the trade was over. At that particular moment, I said to myself, this is how you got to where you are. And this is the lesson you need to give the people when you go live tomorrow. You can talk about the analysis, you can talk about the trade, all that kind of stuff. You can boast. I've done that kind of stuff. Kind of, in all honesty, silly, foolish stuff where you're boasting about results. This is the money. Okay, some of you may have checked out already, some of you may have X'd off the video already, but for those of you who are staying to this point, you have a much better advantage to actually become successful at Forex, because I've given you the gold. When the markets are trying to get you to do things that are irrational, that are uncharacteristic to the things you're doing, don't do it. Okay, a lot of trading has to be done in advance. Why? Because when in advance, that's when we're thinking logically, when we're thinking in wisdom. That's when we're not thinking emotionally. I can tell you pretty much throughout this whole thing, every time I was watching it, I was emotional. Why? Because money's on the line. Even though it's not a lot of money to me, money's on the line. Why? Because my credibility in my mind is on the line. My pride is on the line. Okay. Even though as a Christian, I'm trying to be more humble every single day, but pride is going to try and get everyone. I don't want to come on a live stream and be wrong. I'd rather be right. Who wouldn't want to rather be right? But at the end of the day, helping me with what's more valuable. And either way, because I was willing to come here live and say, you know what, I had a trade that was at one point, or I had a trade that was 130 pips in profit and it went against me. I was willing to come for that. That's why I was able to come to the point and say, you know what, I had a trade that closed out for 150 pips profit in one day. Okay. And normally on this account, £600 account at the day, and it actually went to 588 because the DOS actually came first. Now we're at 660 plus. based on a 13.3% profit in one day based on one trade in a few hours. So this is an example of how you can actually start to grow a small trading account. It doesn't take a lot of work per se. It just takes wise work, smart work. You have to get to a point where you're saying to yourself, look, I'm going to be taking the right kind of trades. I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm taking bad trades. Okay. And even if you take bad trades, okay, or trades that lose, should I say, your winners should far exceed your losers. And that in itself should make things more comfortable. Now, this is how we can get into more like more current stuff, future stuff, basically. So look, this we can see it was 150 pip target, done in a few hours. You can see price continued to move down through the evening. I think at 10 o'clock was pretty much the low, and that was basically 114, pretty much the round numberish, 114, 152. For a whopping 350, nearly 400 pip move from 116, or was it 116.50 to 114 or 117. It's actually quite, let's see, in a lot of activity from, sorry, 118 to 114.50. We're talking about 350 pips in one day. Pretty much half of that I banked in one trade, which was great. And you can see what's happened since. Price bottomed out. Surprise, surprise, you'll call it bottomed out at the same area that we had kind of drawn in already, going back to the previous price action, going all the way back to September 2017, if I remember correctly. And what did price do? Price shot back up. Now, that doesn't matter. Our trading results for the week has been bagged. We can spend the rest of the week drinking Schlur. For those of us who don't drink alcohol or don't make a habit of drinking alcohol at least. And we can see, look, this market's going to do the same thing. There's going to be loads of people that are trying to buy. But like I said yesterday on yesterday's live stream, until the market conclusively says, look, this downward momentum is over, the only positions I'm looking for are sell positions. Just that simple. So you can see price may go back up and find somewhere. Let's go to the 4-hour. But price is just basically, price can't go in one direction all the time. It's impossible. It has to go sideways sometimes. It has to go downward or sometimes, or up sometimes, depending on what way the market's moving. But the point is, all we do is we look for where the top is or where the bottom is at this particular current time. You can see here, this is the 4-hour view. Okay, we've got an inside candle. The price tried to move up in this current 4-hour window, and it's now moving down. Okay, now it's 4:25 now, so this means that this candle should have been only open for literally a few minutes, to be honest, or 4, 8, 12. Okay, so sorry, a couple of hours. But the fact of the matter is, it's all it's doing is recalibrating. After a huge sell-off, what's happening? I had a winning trade. What did I do? I took profits. My take profit was triggered automatically. People are taking profits. After a big move, people are going to take profits. Take profits are going to be hit. People are going to be manually closing their positions, etc. And then what happens? Price now has to move all the way back up because we've had sellers from this particular region up here. So all of those people that have been selling up here are now buying back their positions lower. The price can now move up higher. Now all of a sudden, it's now moving sideways again, slowing down, trying to recalibrate before another huge move down in regards to the momentum. Okay, so you have to become wise at trading the forex markets. It's just that simple. And pretty much on that note, I think that's a good place to wrap it up, because like I said, you have to become wise at making the right decisions. Okay, and hopefully what I've shared with you on today's stream has been beneficial to you, not only in regards to just analyzing the markets. Make sure you go back and watch the previous live stream because they'll be helpful in tandem. But also at the same time, the Forex Psychology, where the real money is actually made as a trader, has obviously helped you as well in that regard. So on that note, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next live stream on Monday, but look out for a video that's actually going out tonight, okay, late in the evening in American time. We publish videos on a Tuesday and a Friday right now, evening times. Look out for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. We've got a good one coming out tonight, and we'll banger about profitable times to trade the markets, the best times to trade. So I'll see you on that video and in the comment section. Thanks, to take care, and all the best on your Forex trading.